The intent of this whole process was to create a set of initial conditions. Today is really about you and what can we do to support you and how you think and feel and sense about such a complex mix of issues. We're going to move from exploration into alignment around how do we align deeply, how do we set up for success, getting to work in our teams and beginning to implement strategies. We're going to move from that alignment into action by beginning to prototype some of our strategies. What would they actually look like? And then identify our best ideas out of that prototyping, and then experiment with what it would be like. What would it be like to invest?
So it's great to see more of a variety of different community stakeholders. I think it's given us an opportunity to share some of our challenges, what we're doing in the city of Santa Rosa, with those others in Sonoma County who are struggling with some of the same things. The challenging part with this, again, whether it's being homelessness or housing, there's not one strategy that's going to do it. If someone has a better way of doing that, it's more important for all of us to be aligned with a consistent effort versus, okay, you do what you want to do, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And the challenge, especially when it comes to advocacy, we have 9 cities in Sonoma County, and then we have the Board of Supervisors. Trying to get those folks in those leadership positions aligned, we need to be on the same playbook. That was part of the conversation we just had with advocacy. We could do so much more if we're working collaboratively. So I'm a big believer of trusting the process. So I'm hoping at the end of the day today there will be some clear strategies, but all of us swimming in the same stream in the same direction will be much more effective. We're learning from each other, so we'll be leaving here with a little bit different perspectives.
And there's no easy one-step solution, and so just really being able to think more critically about what are some of the institutional structures that we need to disrupt, or what are some of the assets that already exist within the community that we can continue to build upon. In today's time, the artist community can play a really strong role, especially in Sonoma County, just given the flooding and the fires. How do we continue to communicate? How do we instill hope within the community to ensure that anything based on strategy or policy is really listening to those voices?
Coming in here, I think there were a variety of issues that all of us are really concerned about. Of course, our housing crisis is huge, but we're also trying to think about a variety of social determinants of health and our education. What are some of the root causes of these things? And we genuinely think that having wages and having services that allow you to be able to thrive in your workplace and be able to make the income that you need in order to take care of your family addresses a lot of those issues. We need to make sure that we don't have another situation where there's thousands of homeless people without services, that there's folks who've lost their homes and there's nowhere else to go because there's no additional housing. People are out of work and now they can't afford to pay their rents, and there's a sense of urgency in thinking about the last natural disaster and how it impacted our communities, but also preparing for future. What we've been able to accomplish is coming together first time and having really needed conversations and sharing what we're already working on and innovating new ideas, because that's what Sonoma County needs right now.
Moving from reactive to proactive can be uncomfortable, even though you aspire to it, but you got to get down and grind in. And so we need to figure out what it is that we do that's concrete, instead of just having the same conversation about equity over and over again. One person who came in to critique our group said it perfectly with the perfect metaphor. He said, I feel like having conversations of equity is like going to a restaurant and drinking warmed up coffee over and over again. I want fresh coffee. I want something that's exciting that I can do rather than having the same conversation over and over again. And what success would look like is there's actually not just strategy, but there's measured results that we're trying to achieve. And there's ways for us to get there. And there's people who are putting their resources, whether human or financial, towards them. Now, the key is do we follow that path? Do we take what we drew on a map and actually start marching?